Welcome. This is Back to the Bins. I'm your host, Mr. B. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you've been here before, thanks so much for coming back, and if you're new here, thanks so much for stopping by. This is a comic book collecting channel, and I'm a comic collector. These Sunday videos are intended to showcase the books I picked up this past week at my local comic shop. I've got a pull list, so I'm pretty familiar with what's happening in comics today. I love digging through the dollar bins, and I love digging through the back issue bins. So, if that sounds interesting to you, and you'd like to join me on my journey back to the bins, why don't you take a look over here, and I'll show you what I picked up. Alright, and like I said, these are the books I picked up this past week at my local comic shop, 204 Comics in Winnipeg, and as per usual, we start in alphabetical order, and that takes us to The Amazing Spider-Man. Been waiting a while for this one. Distribution issues, am I right? This is ASM number 66. This is the Care Andrews variant. Super 90s vibe to this. I think this is just beautiful. Definitely contender for cover of the year. But Spidey is a contortionist extraordinaire. Look at how he is bent. Unbelievable. I love it. Fantastic. Beautiful stuff. This is great. That is so 90s right there. The whole thing is 90s. Oh, gorgeous. Absolutely spectacular. Or amazing, I guess, in this case. Over to DC, we got, this is from the most recent pull list. So here we have Batgirl. This is issue number 4. That is a Sozo Mecha cardstock variant. This has been a fun book. Super stoked on this. Also super stoked that we've got a Sozo Mecha cover. She is one of my favorite artists working today. A lot of fantastic stuff. She's had a recent health scare, so, shout out to Sozo Mecha. I'm sure she's never going to see this, but, yeah. Unfortunate. Sounds like she's doing better now. As a favorite artist, I dig a little deeper into what's going on, and I noticed that. So, really awesome cover. Love this, and, yeah. Always on the hunt for Sozo Mecha covers. Keeping with DC, we got some Batman. This is also the latest issue. This is Batman issue number 157. That's the Tony S. Daniel cardstock variant. This is Chip Zdarsky's final issue. So long, Chip. Sounds like he's heading over to Marvel. Also got the death of Leonid Cull here. So, pretty significant. And I should have stopped collecting at this point because I have obviously the graded copy of issue 125, in which Chip Zdarsky started writing for Batman, and then this one, I could have that Chip run. However, I want to go to issue 175. I guess it's a numbers thing, but as long as these covers keep popping up like this, I'm sure Del Auto's going to be back on Batman at some point. I got to keep grabbing these awesome covers. Wow, a lot of DC again, which is always good. Here we have, of course, from the latest pull list, Birds of Prey, issue number 18. That is the Dan Panosian Connecting A cover, and I am here for it. I think this is a fantastic looking cover. Beautiful stuff. Obviously, we're going to have the other half of Barbara, but super cool of the ninjas. I'm here for it. This is one of my favorite books as well. And of course, all good Birds of Prey must come with a variant. So here we have issue number 18 once again. This is the Serg Acuna cardstock variant. I would love to see a connecting variant of this, or at least as another 2 issues with the rest of the girls drawn this way. I think this is a beautiful cover as well. Again, super cool to see Barbara on the cover alongside Black Canary. That's cool, 2 of my favorites. But I need some Barda. I really do. She needs to get her own series. I think that'd be fun. A little, even just a limited series. Over to the indie stuff, we've got, I think this was supposed to be last week's pickup. We've got Hello Darkness, issue number 7. This is an In-Hyuk Lee anniversary variant. So Boom celebrating 20 years. These independent companies, folks, I'm telling you, go and find their books. If you love the weird stuff, if you love different stuff, if you're not into conventional superheroes, if you like the unconventional, then independent publishers are for you. Boom's already been doing this for 20 years, but the quality and the type of work they're doing is just amazing, and I love Hello Darkness. It's one of my favorite anthology series today. It's so cool, and this is an absolutely beautiful cover as well. Maybe cover of the year, could be. It's done so nicely. I love it. I mean, you can't go wrong with In-hyuk Lee. So really nice to see that. I think that's running 12 issues. I'm not entirely sure. Speaking of final issues, here we've got Koshermafia issue number 5. That's a Sammy Cavella cover. This has been a fantastic book. I would suggest picking this up on the trade paperback. This is so good. Mad Cave is doing a lot of really fun stuff. Of course, they got Dick Tracy as well as this Koshermafia. 5 issues have just been spectacular. It's the mob. It's the Jewish faith. It's the Italians. It's all kinds of fantastic stuff stuck right before World War II. So a lot of really fun scenario situations. Great artwork, great story. I love this book. So good. And unfortunate that it's ending, but I can't wait to see how it ends. Here's another cover by, of course, with the hot guy himself, Mark Spears. This is Mark Spears' Monsters. This is issue number 3. This is the Dracula homage variant, of course. That Marvel anniversary border, which is so cool, and a very classic-looking Dracula. I'm here for it. Mark Spears, he's everywhere, like I told you a couple of weeks ago. And yeah, I like the artwork. And you can take it or leave it, I get it. Might not be up your alley. For me, we've got an homage on top of an homage on top of just great artwork. So I'm super stoked about this kind of stuff. I love it. As a cover collector, it almost doesn't get better than that. Back over to the indie stuff, and we have, bringing on the nostalgia. We have Silverhawks. This is issue number 1. That's the Lucio Perillo A cover. Obviously, Perillo doing all of Dynamite's A covers for Thundercats, and now Silverhawks, which is basically Thundercats in space. At least that's how 11-year-old me saw it back then. I had a lot of hope for Thundercats. Wasn't my favorite book. We're ending it now at 12 issues. I hope Silverhawks is a little bit better. I think it's obviously there's a different writing team going on here, so fingers crossed this takes me where I want to go. Otherwise, I'm going to be disappointed. But this might be for you as well as Thundercats. So whatever you want to do, that's cool. But for me, I really just hope this is not another Thundercats. Great cover, though. Love Perillo's work. And I had to get a variant because I just wanted to see, I had high hopes for this book. And here we have Silverhawks issue number 1, the Jay Lee variant. I didn't realize that Perillo was doing, ongoing. I should have known, and I also should have known that Jay Lee would be doing the same thing, because now I only want to get one copy of Silverhawks, even as a cover collector. But as a cover collector, I'm like, oh, you should. I got to stick with one of these too. But I've already pulled a bunch because of the FOC stuff, and I think I've got a mixed bag of Silverhawk cover artists. So that is what it is. But super cool, and perhaps we'll hunt them down in the future if we feel like it. Speaking of Thundercats, here we have issue number 12. I am ending it after this. Just not for me, not what I wanted. I'm disappointed. It's probably my own fault to some degree for having that nostalgia feeding most of my longing for this title. Nonetheless, I'm sure that if you're familiar with it or not familiar with Thundercats, this could still be a book for you. But for me, I'm good. But another great Lucio Perillo A cover. Love that. And had to get the variant cover because it is a Mark Spears variant. And of course, I had to end the run with a beautiful Mumra cover. Absolutely fantastic. Love the colors on this. Super cool. That's how I wanted the inside of the book to look. That would have been fantastic. The cover is just out of this world. Mark Spears is everywhere. All right, and should have had these last week. This is Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 13. That is the Gavin Godry variant, and again, I'm here for it. That's just beautiful stuff. Ultimate Spider-Man's been having a lot of great covers. It's everybody's favorite book. It's probably everybody's favorite Ultimate book, and quite high on the list still of what people are enjoying to read, especially if we're comparing this to the regular Amazing Spider-Man title. This is such an awesome cover. Super good. Could be cover of the year too, folks. Then we've got this as well. Should have been out last week. We've got the Uncanny X-Men issue number 9. That is a Mike Mayhew Nightcrawler variant. I just thought that looked beautiful. Had to get this. I'm gonna read this copy, so don't have a. This is the copy, but I just love this cover, and I love this book too. I think it's really good. It's been getting flack. Most people seem to love Exceptional X-Men, but for me, Uncanny, it's where it's at. I really like that, and of course, Ultimate X-Men has been really fantastic as well. Well, that's everything, folks. So hopefully you enjoyed that, and how about we get back to the real world, shall we? Well, that was a great stack of books. Hopefully you enjoyed what you saw, and if you did, why don't you like, comment, and subscribe? It really helps to build the channel, and I'd love to develop a community of people who just love comics. Thank you so much for joining me today. We'll see you next week, and until then, remember, comics are good.